With the world of OF getting completely out of hand to the point where these OF creators trying to rival each other like Bonnie Blue, Lily Phillips, just popping up seemingly out of nowhere, it's getting quite pandemic level. Then we've got more, pop culture stuff kicking off with an alleged fight between Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. But is it all as we thought? And then a fight breaking out in the Mexican Congress. It's been a crazy old week, starting off with OF. Bonnie Blue has started a pandemic. Now, it's not just Bonnie Blue, but of course, if you kind of talk about rage bait or incredibly large people, influencers, who are doing incredibly large stunts to try and get notoriety and fame and money, Bonnie Blue is typically where your attention would go to. And it's created this, spawn of a lot of other people who want to get in on the action and want to get a slice of that £1 million a month pie, because obviously that's a shed load of money. So Bonnie Blue, obviously we've spoken about her in great lengths and depths and all of her crazy stunts. Whether you think that they're justified or depraved, that's completely down to you. But what's happened now is we're starting to see the ripples of Bonnie Blue. We've got Lily Phillips, for example, who has come out in an attempt to try and rival Bonnie Blue by kind of, teaming up with her and then becoming rivals and then, trying to outdo her. We've also had Katie Robertson, who, if you remember, was the girl who claimed that she broke up Molly May and Tommy Fury and photoshopped a bunch of videos of them together. Then threw dirty underwear on her dad's head, who was a head teacher at a school, who then got sacked from his job. And now we've got someone else called Annie Knight, who has been around for a little while doing this kind of stuff, but has definitely ramped up her, shenanigans because of Bonnie Blue and is definitely going down this rage bait path. Now, Annie Knight is who we're going to be talking about today, as she has just announced a new insane challenge, which is borderline that of the barely legal stuff, and it's getting to a point where obviously the government are, in the UK at least, are starting to kind of clamp down on this thing, but how far is too far? And that is the question that everyone is asking, as now Annie Knight has announced that she is going to be doing a stunt that the tabloids are labelling will put Bonnie Blue's and make her challenges look timid and tame. She's going to be taking virginities, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you heard that right.
To get railed by my very first timer for my challenge this year, which is to get railed by 500 first timers and 1,000 people in total. He's 34, so this is going to be interesting. I don't think I'm sure I've never been railed by a 34-year-old first timer, but I'm excited to give him a good time. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I'm excited to show him the ropes and give him a good time.
Now, obviously, she labels him as 34-year-old, which, isn't barely legal. But you got to think, typically if we were to go off of averages, the first timers would typically be a younger audience and demographic. And obviously the tabloids have now got their hands on this, and they are stating that Annie Knight has completed 2 huge challenges that make Bonnie Blues look timid and tame. Obviously, we all know what Bonnie Blue gets up to, so to make it look timid and tame, it would have to be something quite significant. Now, like I say, Annie Knight has been doing this for a little while. This isn't her first rodeo, so to speak, alright? She's been around the block. She's partnered up with Bonnie Blue in the past and a bunch of other people, but now, because of the rage bait tactics that Bonnie Blue has taken, that's the way that Annie Knight is heading in her direction to try and catch up, so to speak, alright? Now, obviously, we all know that Bonnie Blue slept with 1,000 guys in a day, and apparently she's also done over, is it 2,000 now or something crazy like that? I can't even keep up. And, Annie Knight decided she wants a bit of the slice of the pie, and has her own controversial choice of event too. So apparently, if you felt gross before, prepare to feel even worse. So the challenge of the content kind of happened in an accidental way, Annie told the Tab. It was early 2023, and I was a bit lost on OnlyFans. All I was doing was copying the trends of other girls, what they were doing, and I had a brainstorm what my strengths are and one personality. So I started to explore more in sex and more experiences. So yeah, she's going on about what she wanted to do to basically make it things better. Next thing you know, I'm blushing. OF is blushing, and probably the biggest creators in the industry are blushing too. So now she's obviously stated that she's going to be taking 500 virginities, in addition to sleeping with over 1,000 people. Now, she's posted a bunch of videos of her doing these challenges, right? Saying about how, oh, you're only expecting 200 people, but 583 turn up.
Baby girl. Baby girl. Baby girl.
I don't know. If people are turning up to your event and you're providing them with balaclavas, or, you know, they're choosing to wear balaclavas, then typically, to me, that would be a sign that it's probably not something that I would personally want to do. But then again, I am not these people. And apparently, she stated that she slept with all of, 583 men in just 6 hours. And she showed the room and the swingers club that she'd hired, dressed in the all the rest of it. Well, she's basically stating that, you know, she's going for the world record. So obviously, Bonnie Blue did 1,057 men in 12 hours. Lily Phillips claimed that she had done 1,113 in 12 hours. And, yeah, so, well, I guess it's just what's happening now, right? That is the point I'm trying to make. Is that because of these challenges, everyone's just racing for these, like, world, like, titles. Unofficial, by the way, because the Guinness Book of World Records literally won't touch these challenges. And they're basically going through the motions of trying to get notoriety, get fame, be the top dog, so to speak. Lily Phillips has also kind of done this as well. She's gone over to YouTube, and that's where she's kind of transitioned to. As she's posted a video, Lily Phillips answers the web's most searched questions. Now, out of all of them, I think Lily Phillips is, like, you know, at least still got her soul to a degree. And she does answer some very interesting questions within her Q&A, because she answers a lot of questions about, you know, what the people want to know, and, like, doesn't rage bait as hard. I mean, I know she's done some very questionable things, but for example, there were questions like this.
Have a great relationship with your family. Honestly, me and my family are super close. Believe it or not, I do have a father. We very much see each other often. I mean, I call my parents every day. Even though they don't necessarily agree with what I do, they still love and support me so much. So yes.
Now, obviously, what I find interesting is Lily Phillips won't necessarily use these rage bait tactics, and she seems a bit more human than the likes of Bonnie Blue, even Annie Knight, even though I've never really seen her until earlier today. But, you know, she seems a bit more human and seems a bit more emotion. There seems to be a bit more emotion there. Whereas Bonnie Blue, I've stated it before, she's just like a character, a mask over who she truly is. I think her real name's Tia Ballinger or something. So yeah, we're basically in the depths of a almost like pandemic levels of what's going to be now is these rage bait influencers who are going to do absolutely anything and everything they can to claw onto any kind of relevancy, upset the public as much as they can to get, you know, shouted out on these websites. And then before you know it, we're going to be, well, for want of a better term, balls deep in a pandemic of just people, girls, typically rage baiting the public into millions of pounds. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Is this just the start? Is this the end? Who knows? The way that the UK government's heading, at least, it seems like they are clamping down on this kind of thing, at least a little bit. But it's yet to be seen if that will work. Then we had the alleged fight between Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr., but is it all as it seems? There's been an alleged bust-up on set of Avengers Doomsday, which of course is Marvel's upcoming massive box hit, which is going to star not only the Avengers, but also the return of Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom. So obviously this film is hugely hyped, right? Like, it is everywhere. Everyone's getting excited for it. And there is also rumours that Ryan Reynolds might be reprising his role as Deadpool within this movie as well, with Ryan Reynolds posting to social media, and teasing the idea out for the fans. But it is the real-life actors, Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds, that have taken the spotlight recently, as there have been alleged rumours floating around the rumour mill that there has been a bust-up on set between Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr., which has stopped and, halted production for a period of time. So let's get into it, because there's a lot more to this story than a lot of people are being made aware of. Now, the alleged feud between Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. on the set of Avengers Doomsday stems from rumours that surfaced on August of 2025, primarily sparked by the podcast episode of The Hot Mic, hosted by John Rocha. Now, Rocha mentioned in a potential clash between two major actors on set, where a poorly timed joke allegedly led to a heated argument, causing production disruptions. While he didn't actually name the actors, fans and some media outlets speculated that Reynolds and Downey Jr. were actually involved, fueled by reports of Downey Jr. demanding costly reshoots for his Doctor Doom scenes, which initially used stand-ins. These rumours were amplified by social media and covered by outlets like Hindustan Times and Express Tribune and Times of India. Some speculated that the tension might be related to Ryan Reynolds' past marriage to Scarlett Johansson, a friend of Robert Downey Jr., though Johansson has spoken positively of Reynolds in the past. However, multiple sources have since debunked these claims. So obviously these claims came out, and, the rumour started to spin as it does, and then this massive bust-up was apparently a huge thing. And then around 24 hours later, multiple outlets like TMZ, People and the Daily Mail reported that apparently there is zero bad blood between the two actors, emphasising that they have never actually even met in person. Now, Reynolds and Downey Jr. have a friendly history, including a playful interaction during a 2019 charity football league hosted by the Russo brothers. And they discussed a potential Downey Jr. cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine. Additionally, Reynolds' involvement in Avengers Doomsday was unconfirmed, with the Deadline reporting that he may not even appear in the film, further undermining the feud narrative. Rocha later clarified that the actors involved were not Reynolds and Downey Jr., and the rumours appear to have been exaggerated by speculative online chatter and unverified sources, with no concrete evidence supporting that there was any conflict whatsoever. And this was completely backed up by TMZ, who have also basically, because they were the ones that really kind of added fuel to this fire about this potential feud, and they've since been like, oh no, as TMZ typically do. Oh no, that wasn't us that fueling that fire. So they've come out as well to talk about how it's all a load of hoo-ha. So the speculation obviously had a massive blow up on the set of Avengers Doomsday, has spread like wildfire online, but the rumours aren't just a load of crap. There's no way it could have happened, TMZ has learned. Here's the deal. The internet subculture devoted to Marvel conjecture cooked up a story that there was a verbal fight on the set of Doomsday between the two megastars, and fingers were inexplicably pointed to Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. But why them? No clue. A source with direct knowledge tells TMZ Ryan and Robert know each other, sure, but here's the problem with the rumour: they've never actually met in person. So obviously, that completely puts this rumour to bed. From what we hear, the two are friendly. They even had kicked around the idea of an RDJ cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine during the pandemic. And they also zoomed for a celebrity fantasy football league to raise money for the chosen charities. Hardly adversarial. Now, our source tells us that Ryan has nothing but respect for RDJ, and it's also worth noting that Ryan Reynolds, has not even been confirmed to reprise Deadpool in Doomsday, with a lot of casting for the flick is all speculation at this point. We've reached out to reps for Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. and Marvel for comments. So far, no word back. So, we can soundly put to bed this rumour that Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. have had a bust up on set, which has halted production. I mean, I think the podcast could have absolutely spoken out a lot sooner. They could have potentially cleared up that it wasn't these people sooner, which would have stopped the rumour mill in its tracks. And we wouldn't have got to this point where people are like absolutely going mental. Because obviously, I think it's quite an easy thing to do to, like, you know, put Ryan Reynolds in a headline with a bust up, especially considering the whole Blake Lively drama at the moment, which of course is Ryan Reynolds' wife. With, you know, It All Ends With Us, that drama that's been going on behind the scenes with the court cases now and the lawsuits, and Ryan Reynolds being roped into the lawsuits and stuff like this, right? Obviously, the rumour mill is going absolutely mental for those guys, and Ryan Reynolds is, I think, an easy target, and Robert Downey Jr. being the one to reprise his role, he's a good person to put in a tagline as well. So I think they've just taken the two biggest names, arguably, and just mashed them together and been like, this works. Yeah, that's my speculation at least. But as you know, as the reports have come out, these two have not feuded. They've apparently never even met, and they have nothing but respect for one another. So, you know, let's just take a break there. But yeah, you know, just to hammer that point home, here's a little video that's been made by E! News as well.
Here's the truth behind those Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. feud rumors. Although rumors have been circulating about two members of the Avengers Doomsday cast, presumed by fans to be Ryan and Robert, feuding following a fallout on set, multiple reports have assured it's not the Deadpool and Iron Man stars. Indeed, People magazine reports that there is, quote, zero bad blood between the actors, while TMZ notes that the pair have, quote, never met in person. Furthermore, while Robert was confirmed to return to the Avengers follow-up last year as Dr. Doom, Ryan's Deadpool has not been confirmed to be a part of the film. E! News has reached out to Marvel, as well as reps for both actors, but has not yet heard back. Despite the conflicting reports, many social media users and MCU fans began speculating on the supposed beef after a blind item regarding the alleged incident was discussed on the Blinded by the Item podcast. The item claimed that Ryan allegedly made comments about Robert's wife Susan Downey on set, prompting the Iron Man alum to go after Ryan's wife Blake Lively, ultimately leading to a, quote, pull-apart fight. Meanwhile, other users on social media speculated that Robert's problem with Ryan stems from his brief marriage to fellow Marvel star Scarlett Johansson. As one user alleged on X, RDJ couldn't stand him after what he put ScarJo through, who he cares a lot about. However, the actress has nothing but positive things to say about her ex, to whom she was married to from 2008 to 2011. As she said during a 2023 appearance on Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop podcast, quote, he's a good guy.
Yeah, you can see how things have quickly developed and spiraled and snowballed with the internet just making things up. And to round us off, a fight breaking out in the Mexican Congress. You actually can't make... What is going on in the Mexican Congress? As we've just had footage leak, right, of a fight break out in the Mexican Senate as politicians have completely disagreed on policy issues, which typically is nothing out of the ordinary, right? Politicians disagree all the time on things, but that's just the way that politics go. But these guys decided to take it a whole step further and just scrap in the, like, live on TV in the middle of the Senate. Just completely scrap after a head-to-head altercation. So let me give you a little bit of a breakdown, okay, before we get into the footage of what actually led us to this point. So on August 27th of 2025, a physical altercation obviously broke out in the Mexican Senate following a heated debate over alleged oppositions for call for US military intervention against drug cartels in Mexico. The incident involved Alejandro Moreno, leader of the opposition institution Revolutionary Party, or otherwise known as the PRI, and Senate President Gerardo Fernandez Naruno, I butchered those names, I do apologise, of the ruling Morena Party. Now, the confrontation began when Moreno, frustrated at not being given the floor to speak, approached Naruno at the session's close while lawmakers were singing the national anthem. The video shows Moreno pushing Naruno, grabbing his arm and slapping his neck. In the scuffle, Moreno also knocked down the cameraman, Emiliano Gonzalez? Yeah. who required a neck brace and pushed another intervening lawmaker, and shouts to stop the fight were heard in the chamber. Now, the debate had intensified earlier when PAN Senator Lily Tellez reiterated her call for US assistance against cartels, accusing Morena of ties to organised crime, which sparked accusations of treason from Morena. Member of Norona later claimed Morena initiated the violence, alleging Moreno threatened to actually kill him, and said that he would file a complaint for bodily harm, seeking to revoke Moreno's legislative immunity. However, Moreno accused Norona of throwing the first shove, claiming on X that Norona acted out of cowardice to try and silence him. Now, Norona has announced plans for emergency sessions on August 29th to propose expelling Moreno from the and three other PRI lawmakers, and the incident reflects a heightened tension over the US-Mexico relations, particularly regarding President Donald Trump's push for military action against the cartels, which Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has firmly opposed, emphasizing Mexico's sovereignty. So that was kind of what led to this kind of situation. Obviously, context is key in these moments, because a lot of people are just showing the clip, which obviously just shows two people just kind of scrapping. But, these guys, there's heightened emotion, clearly, in what's going on here. So here's the footage. I mean, it's just mental to see two people, politicians at that, just going head to head over something, right? So the outcome of this, there's been some, repercussions for obviously both people, because they both went head to head. So I was just thinking of the footage. That poor cameraman literally just stood in the middle of them to try and break it up. He got absolutely body slammed to the ground. And then you can see the guy going over to him and just like launching himself over him, just like keeping him on the ground. Absolutely insane scenes. Like, you don't even see that kind of level of drama in the WWE anymore. But following the physical altercation in the Mexican Senate on August 27th, right? Where are we? There's been several repercussions that have been reported to involve the representatives. So here's for Gerardo Fernandez Norona. Now, Norona has announced that he would file a criminal complaint against Moreno for assault and damages, citing bodily harm and threat, including Moreno allegedly saying, quote unquote, "I'm going to beat the shit out of you, I'm going to kill you." He also sought to revoke Moreno's legislative immunity. Moreno called for an emergency Senate session on August 29th of 2025 to propose the expulsion of Moreno and three other PRI lawmakers involved in the brawl. And he held a press conference with 18 legislators and the injured cameraman, Emiliano Gonzalez, who appeared with a neck brace, emphasizing he was attacked under quote-unquote premeditated and condemning Moreno's actions. Now, as for Alejandro Moreno, on the other hand, Moreno faces potential expulsion from the Senate, of course, as proposed by Moreno, along with three other PRI lawmakers, as we know. Moreno and its allies initiated proceedings to strip Moreno and the three PRI deputies of their parliamentary immunity, which could lead to further legal consequences if successful. And Moreno countered by accusing Moreno of initiating the physical aggression, claiming on X that Moreno's quote-unquote cowardice provoked the incident. He has not faced immediate sanctions by the proposed expulsion and complaint, but the incident has sparked national outrage and damaged his public image to the whole world. Now, there are other parties involved. So the PRI deputy Carlos Guterres Mansilla, I believe I've pronounced that right, who joined the fray and reportedly assaulted the cameraman, also faces potential expulsion and loss of parliamentary immunity alongside Moreno. And the cameraman, Emiliano Gonzalez sustained injuries requiring a neck brace and immobilized arm, and his equipment was damaged. He is expected to file a complaint for assault and property damage. Now, the incident itself has led to significant political fallout, with Moreno leveraging that its event had to condemn the opposition, while Moreno's actions have been broadly criticised, raising concerns about parliamentary decorum. And the proposed emergency session and legal complaints could lead to further consequences such as expulsion or potential criminal charges, depending on the outcome of the Senate's actions and judicial process. Now, public sentiment online and reflecting in posts like X highlight the deepening, partisan divide and calls for institutional reforms to prevent future violence in Congress. What a situation to find yourself in, by the way. This is actually mental. Let's just watch it one more time, because like I say, you don't see this kind of drama even in the WWE anymore. Like, shit just went from 0 to 100 so quick. Oh, it's just mental, isn't it? Here we are. I mean, I would absolutely love to see, don't get me wrong, in the House of Parliament, like a scrap between Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak. Don't get me wrong. I love a good scrap as much as the next guy, but obviously that's just not the way to behave. Imagine like Donald Trump versus Joe Biden or some shit. It would be great. But, yeah, there you go. What do you guys think of all of this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump, get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.